Good morning or good afternoon to one and all present here. Uh, uh, we've seen this word patents being used and abused by a whole lot of companies which deal with innovation. So, my discussion would be on how patents, from what they are supposed to do, have regressed to a tool which is preventing innovation. So, to start off with, I would go through what is the definition of patent and what uh, details or entities it deals with, and next going through the requirements of a patent and the claims which are needed to support a patent, and finally going through some of the arbitration procedure which are obvious with patents. The reason why I think this topic should be of interest to you is, with us being either innovators or consumers of innovative products, I think there is a need to understand what is innovation, what stimulates innovation, and how we could foster an environment congenial for innovation. Let me start off with what is patent. As the dictionary definition goes, patent is a license which is given to a manufacturer to sell a product for a given number of years. Say when Apple came up with an iPhone, they would have filed for a patent, and the government gave them license to distribute or sell the product in a commercial setting. So, with patents, which is the organization which oversees uh, like the legal aspects of a patent. So the organization is called the International Trade Commission, which is a dispassionate body uh, which approves patents, ratifies patents against a set of guidelines. And the another important aspect with patents is that patents are governed by jurisdiction. So what may apply in the United States of America might not apply in Australia. In the famous case of Apple versus Samsung, you would have seen that the company which won the case in America was Apple, whereas the company which won the case in London was Samsung. Given that, let's move on to the requirements of patent. So for any product to go through a successful application for a patent, it has to fulfill three conditions. The first one is that the product should be novel. Novel being that the product should be something which is the first of its kind, or something that has not been attempted, or something that has not been successfully implemented so far. And the second requirement for patent is that it should be non-obvious. Non-obvious could also mean that the product could be a combination of few obvious combinations, but the combination being non-obvious. Say the iPhone was a innovation in itself, and it has a whole lot of patents, but the combination which the iPhone brought the smartphone industry, as in it was a phone, it was a Walkman, it was a music player, it was a system where you can pay your bills. So with all that put together, it was a non-obvious combination. And finally, a patent should also serve a purpose, which is counterintuitive, but it's a requirement for a patent. So how would you prove that your patent is something worthy? So you do that by what is known as claims. Claims are detailed descriptions of the underpinnings of a product. They explain how the product would work even at its grassroots level. Let me give you the instance of the iPhone. So in the case of an iPhone, the claims of the patent would explain what a pinch and zoom is, what gestures are used for what kind of interactions with the phone, and so forth. And there are two types of claims. The first one being independent claims. which are some things which are established, and they are whole lot more comprehensive, and they are one of the first ones of their kind. And there are also dependent claims which borrow from previous pieces of work, but they are more of process improvements, or like uh, products which have a few advanced capabilities than the ones attempted in prior to them. So, given all of that, what makes patents so interesting is the arbitration process that is entailed with patents. So, say a company A feels that company B has infringed their patents. So, what company A does is it files for an infringement. So, to do that, they file an infringement report. The company B, if they feel that they've not infringed any of company A's patents, they'd file a rebuttal report back to company A, and both companies hire lawyers to fight for their respective cases. And what is so strange is that in the world of computers, there is no such thing as a software patent. Like the ones patents are offered for is the hardware patents. So hardware would be like physical, say in the form of like files, or file drives or media drives as such. And what is making the issue even more complex is that the barriers or the divides between both software and hardware are seeming to diminish with each passing day. Let me give you this famous instance of Apple versus Samsung. Apple sues Samsung for copying some of their patents, such as like the pinch and zoom technology, and like the swipe to unlock gesture and rounded edges. But the flip side to that is, if you would stymie somebody working in the similar space, as in the smartphone space, it would only stymie innovation and not allow the product space, as in the smartphone business, to grow. And the the same could apply to Samsung too, when they uh, accuse Apple of copying some of their technologies. For example, the notifications, which were a standard feature in Android, and which finally saw light in iPhones. But what Apple can do to defend their case was that it was a non-obvious way of implementation, as in the notifications was implemented only in Android, and there was no obvious way of implementing them in Apple devices. So in that way, it was non-obvious. And when even Samsung and say HTC accused Apple of copying some of the 4G or the LTE technologies, what Apple can use to defend from their end is that they used LTE and the SIM, and they fabricated it on a single chip, which is again something which is non-obvious. So like the boundaries are a bit murky, and as long as innovation grows, one should encourage it and not try to stimulate. So to conclude, I would say that it's good that patents are being used as a mechanism to safeguard innovation, but it shouldn't regress to a level where it is stemming innovation. So I would encourage all innovators to collaborate, or like encourage healthy atmosphere, such that more innovative products can come to the market. So a case in point would be like the Gmail app, or like a Google app on your iPhone, or like an Xbox app on your Android. So these are examples of how competitors or innovators who vie for a top spot in the same market space can collaborate and work towards more innovative products in the future. Thank you.